What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and it's Top 10 Thursday. Ever since the launch of the Xbox One, Microsoft has been listening closely to what fans want to make their machine even more fun. The biggest feature they've added so far is the backwards compatibility program, which makes it possible to play older games on their new system. This week, I'm going to try and do the impossible and check out the coolest stuff they've brought over so far on my picks of the top 10 Xbox 360 games you can play on Xbox One. Number 10. Halo Reach. Master Chief is easily the strongest human ever. With his bravery and skills, he's personally saved our species from total annihilation. What many don't know is that there used to be a lot of soldiers just like him. This ultra-elite team was called the Spartans, and in Reach, we follow the events leading up to the first Halo game, showing us how deadly these people can be. When the Covenant attacks their military installation in the far-off expanses of space, they know that their only choice is to fight them off alone or risk revealing the location of Earth. Throughout this story, we get to know each of our heroes well, learning their talents, their struggles, and just how serious they are about protecting our home planet, even if it costs them their lives. Number 9. Catherine. In the world of dreams, anything is possible. This is a time when our minds try and work out all of our deepest problems and let us go on fantastic adventures. Well, I guess I should say that's what's supposed to happen. Unfortunately for Vincent, his dreams become very dark and twisted lately. Each night, demons invade his sleep, forcing him to solve complex puzzles and complete tough challenges before dawn. If he fails to do this all perfectly, then he never gets to wake up. On top of all that, by day, he has to deal with his rocky relationship to an angry woman named Catherine, and the person he cheated on her with, another mysterious girl also named Catherine. The mix of weird level design and hilarious writing makes this a project that keeps you addicted to playing, if for no other reason than to make sure poor Vincent finally gets some rest. Number 8. Skate 3. This entry on the list might look a bit silly, but I promise that Skate 3 is in fact one of the most fun extreme sports titles ever made. In this, we're playing as a skater who's already made his name well known in the first 2 games, but is now looking to build a squad of the best boarders around. That means he'll have to prove himself by out-tricking the top guys in the business while attempting to not terribly break his neck in the process. Skate 3 is awesome because of the crazy amount of things we can do with our custom hero. After making our character, we're set free in a massive city where we can do odd jobs, join competitions, or just see if we can land some legendary stunts. To make gameplay even cooler, each area of this town has a very different look and feel, making it so that the further we get, the more interesting this map becomes. Basically what I'm getting at is you need to grab a copy and do some kickflips today. Number 7. Xcom Enemy Unknown. You don't see many fantastic turn-based strategy projects on consoles anymore. It seems like most developers have trouble inventing a combat system that works well with a controller, but thankfully XCOM is one that pulls it off flawlessly. We take on the role of a commander in a secret group of warriors from around the globe who have joined forces to stop a secret invasion currently underway. Unknown beings have started showing up and attacking what appears to be random locations across the planet. That's when XCOM flies in to put a halt to this. Each turn you can move every unit once, but they all have unique talents, so how we use them is important. Placing a sniper on a roof can help you push back their ground troops, slamming their robots with stun grenades from your soldiers can delay them, or doing something as simple as flanking them with your stealth guys can win the round. The brilliance of XCOM comes from all the amazing options we have at our disposal. Number 6. Ghostbusters. Not many people know this, but there was actually plans for a long time of making a third Ghostbusters movie. It was going to feature all the actors coming back to face off against new, dimension-skipping entities more powerful than anything they'd faced before. While almost everybody loved the script, they ended up just growing old and getting busy, so they never got to it. This game was essentially designed to take these fun, rough ideas and at last make them a reality. When strange, supernatural shockwaves start rocking New York City, our spirit-fighting friends can instantly tell that something is going very wrong. They decide to hire an extra employee to help them test their experimental equipment and battle the forces of evil breaking into our world. With proton packs charged and ghost traps ready, we get to cruise around capturing the deadliest undead beast to save the citizens. What I really enjoyed more than anything about this game is that we really get to investigate the source of all this paranormal phenomena. We aren't just walking around blasting stuff, we really get to use our gear to gather clues, solve mysteries, and hopefully stop the apocalypse. Number 5. BioShock. On a normal day, a man named Jack gets on a plane for what he expects will be an average flight. During this trip though, something happens, causing a terrible crash into the ocean. As the sole survivor, Jack swims to the only thing in sight, a lighthouse in the middle of the sea. Going inside, he finds an elevator that takes him to a place called Rapture. This underwater city was intended to be a utopia of open minds. The greatest thinkers alive were allowed to create whatever they wanted, but somehow they all went mad, using their science to warp their bodies into disgusting weapons. We arrive here amidst this chaos. The few men and women who are still breathing in Rapture are so twisted and mutilated, it's hard to even call them human anymore. Jack has no other option but to fight his way through this carnage in an effort to find his way to the surface again and maybe a way home. BioShock is often considered to be a masterpiece for its sharp blend of dark storytelling and incredibly solid shooting mechanics. In each new lightless hallway we stumble into, there hide secrets that must be uncovered if we want to figure out what exactly took place here and if leaving Rapture can even be done. Number 4. Left 4 Dead 2. At this point, hundreds of different zombie-themed titles have been released over the years. Where this game managed to totally stand alone though is that instead of focusing on finding a cure or remaking society, Left 4 Dead is just about getting headshots and rescuing your buddies. This project is all about multiplayer, avoiding deep plot in favor of very teamwork-centered action-packed matches. Rather than being a straight-line campaign, Left 4 Dead is divided into acts, which play out like scenes of a horror film. In one level, you could be searching for a missing pair of keys to get into a safe house or attempting to gas up a car in a mall filled with millions of walking corpses. If this was just a matter of dodging zombies, that wouldn't be too hard, but the real twist comes from the special infected. Life forms that have carried the plague the longest gain extra abilities like a tongue that can drag off teammates, acid to burn your health away, or the Hunter, which is a creature that can strike at lightning fast speeds. This isn't the kind of game you just beat once and move on from, because each playthrough everything gets rearranged. You and your friends can take on challenging maps over and over and yet never have the same experience twice. Number 3. Red Dead Redemption. Back in the Wild West, things were tough, but overall, Americans were happy. This was an era of invention and discovery. With trains revolutionizing travel, new towns springing up every few months, and the government learning to establish itself, things were looking bright. That doesn't mean there weren't some bad guys wandering around though. Our main character, John Marsden, used to be one of those people, bringing fear to the innocent with the help of his gang of outlaws. In his old age, he realized just how wrong he was, so he puts the crime-filled habits behind him and settles down with his wife and son. After enjoying a quiet decade, his dark past sadly catches up with him. The police have tracked him down, but instead of just arresting him, they offer John a very bloody deal. If he can find and kill the crew he used to run with, they promise to erase all of his records. Since he just wants to go back to working on his farm in peace, John takes him up on their agreement. What makes Red Dead Redemption so memorable is that it locks us in the center of a very messy situation, but keeps us wondering if this is really the right choice. Seeing John hunt down these men one by one is never said to be good or bad. We must decide for ourselves if we're the hero or the villain of this tale. Number 2. Alan Wake. Keeping gamers scared is more and more difficult lately. Most of us have seen thousands of different spooky ghouls crawling through loads of horror games, and yet Alan Wake manages to harness a rare style of fear with its sense of realism. Alan is a successful author whose talent is creating books that leave his readers afraid to go to sleep at night, all due to his skill at making shocking monsters. When he runs out of ideas though, he gets desperate to come up with new plans and quickly, so he goes on a trip with his wife to a tiny mountain town. Unfortunately for Mr. Wake, this beautiful valley holds a strong, unbreakable curse. Whenever an artist arrives, their mind is dominated by the demons who reside here, forcing them to use their creativity to will them into existence. Since our hero's expertise is tales that can drive you insane, the darkness seizes this power for itself. Our story opens with Alan waking up to find his wife missing and the entire population of Bright Falls mutated into shadowy freaks. These creatures are called the Taken, and the darkness that holds them makes them nearly unkillable. It's our job to use a combination of careful aiming with our flashlights, some steady shots from a handgun, and a lot of spare batteries to save everyone from the horrible madness we created. Number 1. Fallout New Vegas. Picking just one game in this amazing series for the list was extremely hard, but I went with New Vegas because of how unique it is. In the nuclear wasteland, there isn't much to look forward to. Life is brutal and short. Even those that manage to scrape together a decent living don't usually make it past 30. The character we play as is just a simple guy trying to work a regular job who ends up on the bad side of the mafia. One day he's asked to deliver a package, but during his journey he's ambushed and shot in the head. Having a bullet in your brain isn't really good for your health, obviously, so our hero forgets who he is, where he was going, or even what his name was. The only thing we know for certain is the face of the man who shot us, Benny the Gangster. This begins our epic quest for revenge across New Vegas. What's so great about this game is that you could really do anything. The main missions are fantastic, but it's also completely optional. For my playthrough, I made it a point to see just how rich I could become. I did some favors for some super evil people as long as it paid good, but then double-crossed them and stole their money too. Essentially, I became the meanest character in a world already full of totally messed up problems just for the silly joy of it. For its hilarious writing, cool combat, and ability to provide such a grand adventure, I am awarded this my pick as the best Xbox 360 game you can play on Xbox One. Did your favorite game not make the list? Got an idea for a future top 10? Leave it in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. You know, for some god-awful reason, I tried to buy and watch the Final Fantasy anime this week. Oh god. Look, I love Final Fantasy more than anything. This is an abomination. This should literally be burned in the streets. Whoever made this, you should be ashamed. I hope you lose sleep tonight. Ugh. Oh god, I broke something. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe check out my last video. Please subscribe, and if you want, share this somewhere with your friends.